While I appreciate the concern, I would have been much happier if he had brought it up to me personally. I'm all over the internet. I'm easily found. Anybody with a keyboard can just go to Facebook. If you have a concern, come to me. I don't consider this sexual harassment. The look on my face is pretty much a look I give every single person in this building because I think they're all stupid at some point or another. It's just this, oh God, cats, hurting cats. I grew up with 5 brothers. I'm used to this. I am more than capable of defending myself. I don't need someone standing up for me. I'm not in a powerless situation where I would need someone to stand up for me. If I really needed to defend myself, I have a baseball bat in the office, sitting next to my desk. I know how to use those. They're fun. So, I don't know why he felt the need to bring this up and plaster it all over his Google Plus forum. It's unnecessary. If you have a problem, bring it up with the person or people if you must, but do it privately first. Then, if you don't get the response you want or the other person is being an asshole, feel free to blow it up on the internet, but just don't be that guy. And don't bring up feminism and say that you are defending me and then turn around and post other things that would counter your original argument. I read the rest of your Google Plus profile. They don't match. It doesn't work like that. I'm very sorry. That's all I have.
Well, I appreciate the attempt to stick up for what you believe in. It's difficult because the women here are very strong, and they, I would like to think myself included, would not tolerate anything that would be offensive, that would violate their sense of self-respect and self-worth. There's most certainly joking that goes on, but trust me, we give it back to the guys here just as hard as they do with us. I think that men have a difficult time sometimes understanding what women kind of feel as feminism, and for me personally, it is that we want to be treated as equals. We are not as delicate and fragile as, some people would have us think, and sure, some are, that's the thing, everybody's different. But, knowing Rose personally and knowing myself, if anyone ever stepped over the line, I am certain that we would let them know. So, appreciate that you're trying to, say what you believe, but no need to take offense to any of it, because we are perfectly capable of giving them a piece of our mind. I think that's what I have to say about that.
In reading this comment, 3 things run through my mind. The first one is I don't think that this guy is coming from a place of ill intent. I truly think he thinks that he knows how people feel or would feel. And maybe that's how he would feel if these comments were directed at him. But the problem is they weren't. And I'm not saying that I think that every comment that gets made on the blog is necessarily one that I would want directed at people who I personally adore and care about. However, it's not my place to tell them how they feel. And I think that's the real problem here. He doesn't get to decide how anybody else feels. None of us do. So, can Chris be offensive? Sure. We all have our moments. Am I a proponent of profanity and vulgarity? I'm not, advocating that on a regular basis. Personally, that's my choice. But at the same time, is this an environment where creative people get to express themselves in the way that they are most comfortable? Yes. And am I going to judge them for that? Absolutely not. If I did, I wouldn't be here. Period.
Okay, so read that and just go. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to edit this. I'm not even going to say anything. This is just you being you, whatever you want.
Do you wish me to read it out loud?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, because I have read this.
Okay.
The biggest thing that I took out of this was his strong assumption that he understood exactly what had happened and felt that it was his place to police how other people reacted about it. And I feel that that is grossly inappropriate. One of the most offensive things that somebody can do to me is tell me that they know how I should feel about something and they know how I should react about something. And I find that I'm pretty good at judging that for myself. And I'm also pretty good at judging when I should act upon that and tell somebody that they are being inappropriate. Which happens very rarely, actually. But it certainly happened with Mr. Russell, because he's never been here. He admitted he's never been here, and probably never will visit. Though after this, I'm not sure I'd want to let him in the building, because he might tell everybody how to feel. And it's hard enough when everybody has to figure out how to do it with other people, have some other people come in and third party how everybody should act on things. And it's also pretty clear that he has not acted in a management position and doesn't know how to behave, but he says that he's not in one and still says that he's going to tell his management how to behave for other people, which is beautiful. So I hope that the people who are managing his makerspace understand that he feels it is his place to control how other people feel and act appropriately on that. Were there any other points that you wanted me to cover?
No.
No? Okay.
Go get the gang.
I'll go get the gang.
The rest of my candy.
Hi, come on in, sit down.
Hi. Okay. Are you telling her she has to sit down?
No, I was inviting her to you. Shut the fuck up.
So tell me what to do, Chris.
Bitch, don't tell me how to live my life. I'll do what I want, including talking with my mouth full.
You're allowed to make bad decisions if you want to.
Thank you! Finally! Someone!
That's what being
Giving me the right to make a bad decision. That's just what I wanted. And at least the stripping.
I told you this would be more entertaining.
Is this a clothing optional meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
We're in a boardroom. They're all clothing optional meetings in here.
Okay, that's it. I'm done with the board.
I don't know if you want to touch that table. No.
Everybody's like, oh god, bleach. I need bleach.
And see, and they were worried that our precious Sarah would be offended.
Right.
I'm gonna go home and shower in Lysol.
Yep.
Okay, has anybody, I'm sorry, totally off subject, has anybody ever cleaned the keyboards out in the computer by the lobby? Because
That's not my job.
can I do that? Because it's going to make me insane.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Lysol wipes. I'm going to invest in Lysol wipes.
We have them in the utility closet.
I didn't know we had a utility.
We have
We have like
five.
3, yeah. 5?
There are signs
I
on
don't
them.
know.
That's about 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd have to ask me because I don't know which utility closet they're in, but we have them.
Okay.
All right. This is just like the individual interviews. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to try and guide this discussion. I fucking know better. But just, there's the topic at hand.
Oh, we've been ranting because one of the four of us here talks a lot, so we had time to kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking
I just think it's funny that everybody's had more things to say about it than me, and I'm the one involved in this.
So why don't you tell us what you think?
I could give a shit what the guy thinks about me. Like, I don't need defending. I don't need, man on white horse and shiny armor. That's totally useless when it starts raining. You're gonna rust to pieces and then I'll have to pry you out. That's not what I want to do. I don't need defending.
You don't feel this is a hostile work environment?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, we were discussing the alternative
Right.
work environment where everybody has to report any of their concerns to an HR department, where you're not allowed to tell the person who you might have offended and how, but you did something that might have been bad. And you can't work problems amongst yourselves because apparently you're not full of a place with adults.
You're not an adult. You can't have your own opinions. HR has to take care of it for you. Because they know
So-
best.
There's a lot of people. I'm going to jump in here because there's a point I want to make, and then I'm just going to let you guys run with this particular thing. There's a lot of people out there who, since the mid-90s, have taken the litigious nature of the United States up about 50 notches, and one of the front-running fucking flags of this is sexual harassment. Now pay close attention and choose for yourself. So, Miss Moose. Shut the fuck up, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying here. She was the closest one to me. So,
That was a poor decision.
so
How much did you lift this morning?
505 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, she outdid the Marines.
Closer?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, I'm trying to make a point, okay? I
will
believe she
allow
won't
you
kill me.
The opportunity
Okay.
to make the point
Just,
for educational purposes.
okay, try and fake straight for a moment, please. But, alright. So, if you go out with a date with me, I can probably arrange that you get a raise, because I'm your boss, and you should probably go out with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
That's sexual harassment. Okay? That's sexual harassment.
You know what would be funnier about that statement?
What?
If you were in power to give you
If you were the boss?
Okay.
I'm trying here! I'm trying to teach!
as a
I'm trying to think of examples of overt sexual harassment. God.
Well, that is a great example.
That is a great example. I just picked the absolute wrong person because
Yeah.
on so many levels. But yeah,
That happens to be my job.
yeah, I know.
can't
For
be
those
like
of you
that.
that don't know, she's anything to do with money. Yeah.
And I don't even work here.
I'm the responsible adult.
Thank God. Sorry. No, the thing that astonishes me, and it really does
Okay.
astonish me.
Do you want a really good example of sexual harassment? At a previous job, I worked at a restaurant. I had a guy that I worked with. He's this giant black man. Sexual harassment is when he comes up to you and is like this close to you and asks you if you want to go to his truck and suck his dick, because once you go black, you never go back, apparently. I told him I'd cut it off if he ever said that to me again. That was my response. And then I told my boss, and then he got fired the next day. That is how you deal with that.
Yeah. Now, sexual harassment is not. You want to go out sometime?
Sure.
See, that's not sexual harassment, including if she says no. Including if she laughs at you and says.
So we were discussing a thing that happens on a very regular basis in my job is people come up to me and they say, I don't like how another person acted. I need you to fix that. And every single time the response that they receive from me, no matter who it was that bothered them, is, why did you tell me and not them? Every time. I don't really care what the problem was. If it was an interpersonal issue, you need to coexist with this person. Figure something out.
A big part of this job is realizing that we're a social organization of fundamentally antisocial people, and different people are going to feel different ways about different things. It takes a lot more than you can imagine to offend Rose. Whereas things that Rose would be totally okay with would be grossly unacceptable with Sharon. Because they're different fucking people. This doesn't mean that she has wrong opinions or that she has wrong opinions or any of that crap. It means that they're different people and they're entitled to their own opinion. In any given day, I have to be prepared to address a absolutely public audience in the middle of downtown, or a group of third graders or Cub Scouts, or a BDSM convention. And it's my job, by exercising my own opinions and judgment, to be able to determine what is appropriate for a given audience. I talk for a living, so I'm pretty good at this. Not always. Every now and then, that shit goes sideways pretty bad. But it doesn't happen as often as it used to, and I do a lot better now, and if you ask any public performer, they've all experienced those joys. So, yeah.
Right, but here, in the statement you just made, here's the thing. You called them both people, right?
Yeah.
She's a
And
people!
I'm a
thing.
people.
She's a people!
It's not so
She's a
much-
fucking lawyer, but she's a people!
Right, but it's not so much men versus women, or how do I treat women, because they can't all give me a specific answer of how they all want to be treated, because people are not all the same. They're people, and
Yeah.
it's going to be different.
And the most
exactly
important thing
that.
is it's not this guy's comfort with what you said. It's
Right.
hers.
It's my comfort.
And if she's uncomfortable, then
Did
she
you
has the
not
right
hear
to address
me
it.
cackling in the back of the video? Like,
I did.
I
You
I
were
deal with
crying.
this.
You were crying from
Oh.
the offense.
all the offense, my feels were hurt so badly.
I can tell.
And honestly, I totally forgot about that entire incident until you brought it up.
So would I.
Like, I was like, wait, when was I offended by who? What? And when you showed me the video, I'm like, oh yeah, wait, how is this like, no, it's just a dumbass statement, but it's not really offensive, and it's nothing out of the... I've heard much worse. I have 5 brothers, and I work here. Like, really? That's going to offend me? Really? I have...
You know what offends
No.
me? Is when we have people come in who require having a different person teach them how to do things on machinery.
But she has boobs. She can't teach me how to run a CNC machine.
Those are genuine things that bother me.
Yeah.
I really don't care about offhand comments and jokes that you make amongst yourselves at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, there are bigger things to worry about. It's after hours. You could see it was after hours. We were out burning the precious copper spray just previously and being yelled at for that. It's dick off time. Like, no one cares what's going on. It was like, what, 9 o'clock?
I don't even know how late it was. I know it had to be late in the day because it was like
it
the
was
lab was
already-
empty, everybody was hanging out. It was just
Yeah.
It was after you guys had lit some paint on fire outside.
yeah. That
It's
was that
amusing
was
to
part
me.
of it.
But you know, the bottom line is this: people can watch the blogs, and you can be entertained by the blogs. You can learn from the blogs. You can sometimes watch the blogs and wonder why you can't turn it off. But there's something in the blogs. Fine, take from it, but don't assume that you know better than the people who are living what's being filmed in the blogs.
Yeah.
Right.
You
that's
get a
the-
very small percentage of what actually goes on during the day.
It's just
And it's a very
snapshot.
good representation, but it's not all of it. Because once you leave the room, things continue to happen after you've walked out of the room with the camera. We
Yes.
don't all just pause. And like,
Wait for you to come back.
to come back, I really want to breathe now, and I have to poop. Shit! Like, things keep going, and we keep doing things, and, it's like, don't take offense for other people. Don't do that. Don't pick up crosses for other people. Unless the person actually needs help and they're in a situation where they cannot help themselves.
And they've asked for help.
And either they've asked for help or you've gone to them and said, do you need help? Is there something I can do for you? If they say yes, then go for it. If they say nothing, don't do it. If you haven't approached them in the first place, you better not do it because this happens.
Have you ever, in all the time you've been involved in a geek group or with me, felt you were in a position under intimidation or in any situation where you couldn't speak out to somebody who had offended you in some way?
No.
Have you ever been threatened or felt that there would be any type of retribution if you did?
No.
Okay.
I know I can speak my mind here. I know I can bring something up. And I know if it turns into a shouting match, whatever, but at the end of it, it's going to get resolved. And I can say something comfortably. And not, well, if I say this, he might, like, come at me with, I don't know, the giant black dick and beat me with it.
That's a
Because-
totally, that's my Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you.
That's the thing,
I
though.
don't know.
Everyone should feel comfortable to come here and to, if you are more easily offended than some of us here, then say so. When you're here, when you're interacting with these people, because it's a whole lot different physically being here than watching on the other side of the screen.
One of the big things is by being in an environment where people can freely express themselves and be able to interact in ways that are unrestricted, is people are certainly going to occasionally say things that bother others.
Right.
Yep.
And it is a risk that we have to be willing to accept because the alternative means that nobody gets to express themselves.
Yep.
And it has been made very clear to me that that is not an environment that people want.
No.
Well,
Which is-
more than that, this is a creative environment.
You have
This
to
is
be
an environment,
free.
right, where you're asking people to come in and give of their spirit, their time, their energy, their resources, and invest themselves in making something, in helping in some way, in doing something that is completely outside the box. And if you're going to do that, then you have to accept you can't then make a box.
No. You're missing the other side of it. It's not just about what they give, it's about what they get. We collect antisocial people. A lot of people come here, and I'm looking at your kid, okay, who do not possess a strong degree of social interaction or a fundamental set of social skills. And one of the things they learn here by dealing with people who go all the way from Moose, who was born a 50-year-old crazy cat lady, to Rose, who, I tell you, the women these days, they're smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey, and they're going to get that whole genre in between. This is where people can come and develop some fucking social skills by being around people who may not share the same opinions, who may have, oh my God, they might vote differently, or they might have a different, I tell you, we've even got black people here. I know, right? And they're people who are fundamentally, culturally, socially, economically different from them, who hold different belief systems.
And in that process, at some point, you're going to say something dumb.
Oh God, yes.
It's a guarantee.
Well, my point that I wanted to make, though, is that everybody coming in here brings something to the table, takes something from the table, and shares. As the only, I suspect, and I could be wrong, but I really don't think I am, as the only true extrovert maybe in the building ever.
That's not true.
Are you truly an extrovert, too? That's
I'm
awesome.
a people person.
Yeah, so
at
am I.
heart. Like, there are
You two may be the only two.
Okay,
there
so
are days where it's like yesterday, I told Moose, I'm done smiling. Like, I'm done dealing with people. I have days where I don't like people, but I have to be around people. I could never work in a job where I'm stuck in a cubicle away from people. I would shoot myself.
well, don't do that.
I would go crazy. That's
Don't do
my
that.
goal.
But my point is, everybody here is of such tremendous value. And the thing that impresses me more than anything else is the community. And yeah, even in a family, people piss each other off.
Especially
Especially in a family. But when you have a community of people who choose to be together rather than people who are simply related by blood, if you have an opportunity to address a problem and it gets resolved, everybody grows. If this guy had sent you an email and said, hey Rose, I saw this and I wondered if you were okay with it. And if you had said to him, no, I'm not okay, I'm really mad, but I don't feel like I can say anything, and then he had sent this, well, that would be a totally different situation. But he's taking it upon himself to speak for you, and I'm very confident that you don't lack any ability to represent yourself.
No, I do not.
As a side note, the part about the whole incident that bothered me the most was where he insisted that any responses would have to be done through other means than
Yes.
when he used post.
I
If you're
thought
going to
that that
express a
was
strong opinion,
interesting.
you need to take your strong opinion
I think
responses.
it's funny that your strong opinion added with the, well, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, contact me directly. Why didn't you do that in the first place with me? Why didn't you give me the courtesy to say, hey, you know, I felt like this was off. I wanted to say something and make sure you're okay. Because I have had people in the IRC where I've had a bad day or something has happened and they see that I'm upset. They will get on and privately message me and say, hey, are you alright? Is everything okay? How are you doing? I'm okay with that. I appreciate that concern. I appreciate it because that means you care.
Right.
But when you take it and run with it without my knowledge or consent, that is when I get irritated. I'm not mad because it's not worth me getting mad over. I have other things that my energies are going towards right now. This is kind of low on this particular priority list, but just bring it up to me. I will talk to you and I will tell you how I feel without, without a problem. I don't care. I know how to talk to people and I know how to express my feelings.
You sure? Because I thought you were holding back.
Yeah, I'm holding.
You're pretty reserved. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone, for coming today and hanging out. Okay, I'm going to post this. And by the way, anybody who wants to know the actual thing that was said is, here, I'll hand this off to you. Russell Miller, who shared this on Google Plus about 18 hours ago now. I am actually a member of the Geek Group, if a free one who never visits. After watching this, I have only one reaction. I am seriously considering advocating making this required watching as a part of the onboarding process of our makerspace, with only one annotation. Do not do this. This is the most clear-cut example of a hostile work environment and sexual harassment that I have ever seen. I respect what Chris has done, and I am a fan of what he's trying to do with the Geek Group, but sometimes you have to point out things that I can't read without eyes, that you don't really want to point out, and this is one of them. The women have that, I can't believe I'm putting up with this look on their face.
We give you that look sometimes.
I get that one. The same one my cat gets when I dance around with her and make up stupid songs. You
I
really
suspect that says
should
more
stop
about him.
doing things with your cat.
I mean, I guess I was.
He's a
dancing
cat
with
guy.
the
That's
dog
really all I
earlier.
needed to know was he was a cat guy. I
Hey!
told the director of our makerspace that if I ever see this going on at our space and it is not addressed immediately, I will likely never go back. At which point he will probably say, thank fucking God, because we've had people like that and we're happy when they go. Disclaimers. This is only my opinion. I am only speaking for myself. No. And while I am heavily involved in a local makerspace, I am not in any kind of organizational role at the moment. Yeah, we can tell. Also, comments disabled. I don't really feel like I'm dealing with the peanut gallery on this one. And if you want to comment, please reshare and do so there. Or you can message me privately if you really must, and that's in all caps. Russell Miller. I intentionally didn't say anything for the majority of this video because I don't need to speak for the women here. They are intelligent, they are motivated, and they are bigger than I am, and I try not to fuck with them. Except Rose, who I hate. You're being assaulted, right? This is assault. Ask the lawyer. This is assault. This is assault. I'm assaulting you.
Do you like those
Not in the
jeans?
face again. Not in the face. Not in the
No.
face.
It was gonna be the kneecap or the heart. I like the pick though.
Oh, that's a fake knee. Knock yourself out.
You assume he has a heart. That's really cute. Oh,
Knock yourself out. I ever tell you about the hairbrush? I'll tell you about that later. It's a really cool story. So, you guys have fun. That's today's Captain's Blog, a fundamental lesson on what sexual harassment is and is not. This is the Geek Group. It is not a hostile work environment. It is a fucking lunatic asylum filled with weirdos, thieves, beggars, horrible people, and Rose. That's sexual harassment!
Help! I need an adult.
You need a dog! You really do! I just want to love you. Oh, I just want to love you all over. Oh,